What is going on, everybody? It's Andy the Pop Professor here, back with another video in April 2020, and today is Sunday, April 19th, which in Star Wars, you know what that means. Absolutely nothing. But it happens to be the day, 2-ish weeks before May the 4th, where the complete 4-part wave of Lego sets came out, as well as a bunch of the Funko Futura pops. And this morning, I was very fortunate to get all of them at Target. So this is going to be the beginning of a large video segment wave where we build all 4 of these sets, review them for you guys, and then do some comparisons. So without further ado, may the force be with you, and let's get started. That's right, everybody. It's Andy the Pop Professor here, back with another video. And if you're new to the channel, I cover Lego, tons of it, Star Wars, lots of that too, and all kinds of collectibles. So please consider subscribing right down below, and also click that bell notification so you never miss another video. We have a big week ahead, folks. Lots of sets here to build. It's April 2020, and this brand new wave of Star Wars helmets, in addition to the Dio droid from The Rise of Skywalker, just dropped this morning. I went out and picked them up. You might have seen me on Instagram Live on my way. And the only question that remains at this point is which box to open first. So we're gonna dig into these. I'm gonna do a full set review of each set, and then we'll do a little bit of a comparison at the end. It's gonna take probably the better part of the week, but I'm super, super excited about this and really, really looking forward to hanging out with you guys on the journey. So lots of exciting stuff coming up as always on the channel. Thanks as always for your support. And I think we'll start with this guy. What do you say? All right, guys, this is set number 75274 from the April 2020 wave of Star Wars sets. And it is the one of 3 of these brand new helmet lines. I just wanted to show you guys this cool box. I really dig this font selection, which actually looks really similar to the new A-Wing UCS series that we're expecting in just a couple of weeks. You can see the piece count here at 724. Let's see if I can carefully get this flipped over. That's a pretty awesome image. Sorry about the glare. I'm gonna get it out of the way here a little bit. Let me see if this is actually better for you guys. There we go. Let's try this. Yeah, I think that's good. So we've got this awesome image, there we go, of the TIE Fighter helmet here. Some cool stuff on the back. really, really excited about this one. And it's gonna be a fun build. So let's jump right into the time lapse. I'm gonna crack this thing open and we will get the review started. All right, gang, before we get too far into this, I just wanted to kind of give you another look at this. Here's the inside of the box. Opens up kind of nicely there. Looks like we got 6 bags for the 724 pieces. Looks like they kind of roll up the manual or the instructions, if you will. And it looks like we have, this was out loose, this single piece, which is kind of interesting. I've never seen this piece before. It's got kind of a hole on the bottom there. Let me see if you guys can see that, which is interesting. And then 2 stickers right there. So there's the sticker sheet. Looking at the box, it's not immediately clear where those go. Actually, maybe right there. I can't really tell. So let's just take a kind of quick look through the manual here. I'm gonna kind of try to fold it and give you guys a glance at this. Lots of colored pieces on the interior. As you can see here, this bag is not all black. If I open this up kind of carefully, you can see Jens' signature here at the bottom as the creative director for Star Wars. And a quick tutorial on that, and then boom, here's the first 3 bags, and then the last 3 bags. Sorry, let's get that glare out of the way. And then we're into it. Pretty straightforward after that. Really excited about this. Let's hit it. Just a quick look here after bag 1 is completed. It looks like I just have like 3 small extra parts here, a cheese slope and a 1x1 plate, round and square. Look at this thing. Definitely would not look at this and think to yourself, oh, that's the TIE Fighter pilot. Tons of different colors, green and yellow and red and blue. And of course, a lot of snot technique. So I've also got a couple clips there. And also interesting to note that this window piece goes all the way through. Wondering if that's gonna turn into some kind of a technique. We do get this slope at the top. You can see these big black plates really divide it. It looks like some kind of like Ninjago house or something as I was building it. And then we also have these socket pieces here. So I'll be interested to see what those do. Onward. We are done with bag 2, and it looks like this thing is kind of starting to take shape. These here, sorry, there's a bad shadow. I gotta get some lights in here above. Probably where these gray pieces are gonna go, and then create that tubes. So compared to the box, you can also kind of see that it's starting to take scale in terms of how big this thing may end up being, which is kind of interesting. We just put on the back of the helmet right there. Take a look at that. And a few more extra pieces added to the pile. Time for bag 3. No minifigures in this bag. Bag 3 is done, and this is definitely where the rubber meets the road. You can see how involved this gets, and maybe in the review I'll show you guys some pages out of the thing, out of the instructions. There's some crazy builds to make all that happen. You gotta really pay attention. This is really cool, the way these clips go on right here to create that angle, and some awesome use of tile work. So just wanted to show you guys that as we keep moving. Okay, everybody, I'm back, and I hope you enjoyed that speed build, if you will. Boy, have I enjoyed sitting down tonight and working through this set. It probably took me maybe 2 to 3 hours, closer to 3 hours probably total. But boy, it was it was really nice to just sit down on the weekend while we're in quarantine and focus on this brand new set that I have absolutely no experience with, which was pretty cool. So I'm going to, I brought together some notes, and I've actually moved out into my office area because everybody is sleeping at the moment. So it's too noisy if I stay in the Lego build room over there. But I want to share this thing with you. So again, this is set 75274, the TIE Fighter pilot from the original trilogy, and the brand new helmet line. And there it is, gang. Look at this thing. Pretty cool. I definitely have some pros and cons that I'm going to get into here, but boy, it's really cool to see this thing in person. So this retails, as you guys know, for $59.99. It's 60 bucks. It's available anywhere, not exclusive, you know, to San Diego Comic-Con or something like that. And comes in a brand new wave that was just released this month from Lego, which includes a Stormtrooper helmet just like it, and the Boba Fett helmet. And I'm going to be building those and reviewing them here on the channel right away. I'm really excited for this week, and then we can also do like a side-by-side when it's all said and done, which should be a really great time. You obviously saw those sets at the beginning of the video. So in terms of helmets, this is kind of a new step for Lego. We don't know necessarily what the inspiration was for this. They've done, you know, as we kind of think about a review for this, like it's important, I think, to think about maybe relevant discussion to sets prior. So let's just talk a little bit about the size and the scale, or like the best comps, if you will, for a set like this. We've never really had any helmet builds in the Lego line. This is a brand new series for them. We did have the Darth Vader bust, which I have right here. And if I hold this up, compared to, I want to make sure I get a good hold on this, the TIE Fighter pilot, you can see it's substantially bigger. The TIE Fighter pilot, again, is $60, and this retailed the Vader at $40. But the Vader had, I wrote this down, 327 parts, while this has 724. So it's twice as many parts and then some for only half as much money compared to the Vader bust, which was retailing at $40 and only has 327 parts. This was released, you know, just last year in 2019. The Sith Trooper bust, that was the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, I don't have, unfortunately, but it was the bright red set. Now that had 484 parts compared to the 327 in here. And I'm assuming it, well, I really don't know what it sold for at the convention. I know that if you want to buy it now, it's easily $100, $150. That's assuming you don't try to part it out or something like that. So, and then finally there was the Darth Maul bust that released way back in 2001, the UCS Ultimate Collector Series set. And I don't have that either, but I imagine it was much bigger. It has, it looks much bigger. It has 1,868 parts. Again, this is 724. So the Darth Maul has more than twice as many parts as this. And back then, I think it retailed for $150. So again, if this is 60, twice is 120, it's about on scale with the price point that was, but that was also 20 years ago. So just some interesting data to kind of crunch around and think about as you might be considering this set. So, you know, I will say when I was looking for other comps, I typed TIE Fighter pilot into Brickset, and shout out to those guys. They do such great work over there, and I really love the site. And I did see the Elite TIE Fighter pilot buildable figure that came out in 2017, and now I kind of want to grab it. That was a first order version. It had the red on it, unlike this one, and really doesn't look any more like this than a Brickhead does. But I just thought that I would mention in terms of other TIE Fighter related Lego things. I did come across that today doing my homework on this. So here's a Brickhead for comparison. And of course you can see the pops behind me. Those are all Star Wars pops back there. Maybe I'll grab one of those even just to get a sense of how big these are. So here's the red Stormtrooper pop compared to this. So it's not small, but and it's definitely bigger than the Vader bust. So it's been hard to kind of get a sense of that scale up until this point. And so I'm really glad to have this thing home and be able to take a closer look at it. The first few bags of the build, 6 bags total, were fairly straightforward, but it got much more difficult after that. I mean, some people say like there's no skill in building a Lego set, you're just following instructions. And I'm not really here to debate that tonight. However, I will say that I had to really pay attention, and there was a couple times where I had to kind of back up and check that everything was correct. Because once you build that main box on the inside of here, as you can see, you know, this all looks very, very similar. And if you connect the stuff in the wrong spot, it's really hard to take off what you just put on. And because it all starts to kind of look the same. So I would advise like measuring 3 times, not even twice, and then cut once, if you will, or apply the parts once, because once they're on, it gets really tricky. I just wanted to make a note of that, especially for me. I got this nose piece incorrect a couple of times. It's really tricky. And then this part right here has a very weak attachment. It only has 2 studs back here that's kind of holding on this entire mechanism, and it's been popping off on me a lot, and frankly, it's kind of annoying. It's been bugging me, so I got to take a. Haven't had that much time with this set, obviously, but that is definitely something I wanted to make note of. Is there's a couple of things on here that feel a little bit fragile, actually. I thought it was a really cool usage. Of course, one of the big things is the gas pipes here on the helmet that goes down to the chest piece on the jumper that the TIE pilots wear. And this usage of this train wheel part is really, really cool. I like that a lot. And then also this fender piece, despite the fact that it's not necessarily easy to get on, I thought that was a nice use of that part as well. There were only 2 decals in the set, and they're actually, let me get this pencil right here. They're actually right there. So these are printed tiles, and then they make that pattern into 1 decal at the edge, and then the same thing over here. So you get a printed piece on both sides there, and then just a 1x2 tile with a decal, which was really kind of cool how those things played together here. So I'm just looking at my notes here to see, there's really no interaction with like other sets. You know, sometimes we have ships or something where that might be a relevant point, but I don't think it's necessarily relevant for this. And then, you know, if you were gonna like part this out, for example, buy it, build it maybe, and then just kind of use it for parts, you're obviously gonna get a lot of black parts, and you get 36 of these train wheels. There's 18 per tube. Also, speaking of the tube, there's a 20L light bluish gray hose in here that I showed at the start of the video. And I've never seen that piece before. And it's been out, according to Bricklink, since 1995, but has only been used in 17 sets. So I thought that was really cool. Definitely a new technique. It's like 3 millimeters wide or something. So the hole in Technic parts is bigger than the tube. And you probably saw in the speed build, I was sliding all kinds of things over this tube, which then you bend down and connect right here, which was pretty cool. And then as far as I can tell, this is a brand new exclusive part to this set. It's just the Imperial logo. We see it on every single TIE Fighter character ever, and is, you know, what really makes these helmets, along with the gas tubes, like really pop as a TIE pilot. So that's pretty cool. Again, I looked this piece up. I don't know of any other sets. Leave me a comment down below if you think I'm mistaken. If you know of this part in another set, I'd love to hear from you, and maybe I missed something. Okay, so final thoughts on this guy. I showed you, you know, the size comparison. Let's see, what did I like about this? I like the pricing. I think $60 for this set is fair. If Vader was $40 last year and we get this bust, I think $60 for this is right. I didn't do the piece count or price per piece on this set necessarily, which I've done in some other videos, but it just seems to be in the right range for the price. I also really like that they gave it this nameplate that popped off. It's actually the first set. I don't have any UCS sets, so this is the first set I've ever bought that has kind of like a nameplate. I know this isn't the same as the big blue UCS ones, but that's kind of exciting. You know, for me, I buy Lego sets for their display ability more than their playability. So when I'm looking at things, I'm not really thinking about how they're going to crash into each other and play as much as I am thinking about how they're going to look maybe on my desk or on a shelf. And I think these are going to look pretty sharp. we'll know at the end of the week. We're going to keep going and we're going to build these other ones, and then we're going to take a tour into the studio and kind of experiment with how they look. But my first impression is like, this could look really sharp. It could fit on your desk and not take up too much room. It could also look, you know, a couple of them we'll see soon what they look like next to each other up on a shelf. We'll take a look around. But I think there's some potential here. I have some criticisms though. Number one is just the release schedule. This is a brand new line for Lego and coming out in April with 3 of these sets, and we'll talk about DO on another video. At the same time, 4 sets, 0 minifigures. I think that's a miss. Also, but that has more to do with their release schedule than this set alone in a vacuum. And I just want to make a note of that. I think it would have been fine if they had done 2 maybe now and saved the 3rd one for like 6 months out. And what I would love to see is if they had introduced the line by maybe doing 2 sets and then they released 1 a year or one every 6 months. I actually think it could be a really cool series. $60 is a reasonable price point. I could imagine 7 or 8 of these, you know, over time, like on display, looking really, really cool. And, you know, let's use our imagination for a minute and think about where this line could go. What would a Kylo Ren episode 9 with all that red in there look like? I mean, that could be really cool. What would a Mandalorian, you know, helmet look like? People would go bonkers for that, you know, with the gray, and oh man, it would be so cool. I'd love to see, like, if we get a little creative, what would like a C-3PO head look like? Maybe it's even enough that we could get them to Lego to release like a new color part for that. That's probably a little outside of the box thinking, but I was just trying to imagine where this could go. Of course, all kinds of other stormtroopers. We'll talk about that maybe in the next video, but I started to think about like a shock trooper, an incinerator trooper, and the one that, of course, with the 501st Battle Pack coming out, like a blue and white clone, or all the other variants of clones. It could be really cool, gang. I think 10 of those, of all those varieties, could, you know, could be really neat. So take a moment and leave me a comment down below. If you're enjoying this, drop a like on the video for me too. It helps support the channel. It keeps me going. And tell me, what is it, you know, what characters, if you will, do you think would be best for Lego to include in this line? So the release schedule is a bit of a problem for me, but again, it's not necessarily to do with this set, but because this is kind of the groundbreaking set for this wave, I think it's relevant. Second of all, I think the minifigure, I think one minifigure down here worked into the display along with this display card would have been really cool. Better yet, what if we get like a exclusive or some kind of updated figure for each helmet? You know, I noticed that the First Order TIE Fighter minifigure has a physical hose coming from the helmet down into the chest, where the old original trilogy TIE Fighters, the gas hose is painted on the torso piece. What if they did that, but then doubled it, so we actually had the very first ever minifigure with 2 real hoses coming down into the chest? That would be so cool. So it might be nice to see them do that and just have that little minifigure by the plate. I think that could be a really nice touch. This third thing is that I had concerns about is the size. Everything I've said so far is relevant. Schedule 1 to 2 a year, spread them out a little bit more. But I would have gladly paid $100 instead of $60 once a year and gotten this thing maybe 40%, 30% larger. You know, I'm kind of thinking about like the Black Series helmets that a lot of people have on display in their collections. I was hoping to get a Lego version of that when I heard about this. Now, those you can put on your head, so they are actual size, 100% scale, I guess, or 1-to-1 scale. But if we could have gotten into the 80 to 90 percent range with scale, paid a little bit more, and even like kind of up into that Darth Maul bust range. I don't have it, but what I imagine is that it's a little bit more substantial. And man, I think that would have like really brought this home. I still feel like the price point compared to a lot of like the huge UCS sets, $100 for like a really, really nice size of this. Maybe I'm off. Maybe 100's too cheap for what I'm saying would have been nice. But I think that is something they could have considered. However, I do still like this. I think it's a nice addition to the collection, and we'll see more of that over the week as we get it onto the shelves. And then I mentioned the attachment points. There's one or two spots that have been a little bit frustrating for me. So final score on this set. I'm going to give this thing, I think, 3.5 out of 5. You know, the other day on my most recent review, I think was the Thanos Benatar. I gave that a 4. You know, it had so many cool functions to it. I'm not going to repeat everything that I just went through, but I think the price point is good on this. I think it's a really cool set. And for me, a 3 is a positive. It's average. If I'm going below 3, I have concerns. I don't have concerns about this. I just think there were ways that they could have done it better. But I do really like the set. I had fun building this, and I'm excited to see what it looks like up on the shelves next to maybe a 10-inch pop. Or I don't have any Black Series helmets, but I would like to get some eventually. Or even like just next to some ships, or maybe even next to some brickheads, you know, to kind of outline things. So I'm going to be experimenting with that to see how it goes. But yeah, I think a 3.5, it was a positive experience altogether, and I'm really excited to build these other sets. So that's going to do it for tonight, gang. Really appreciate your support. I've been having a blast putting all this stuff out. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really supports me and everything I'm doing with these, and I hope that you find the videos entertaining, but also really informative. So drop a like, and most importantly, leave me a comment. You know, let me know where would you like to see this line go? What do you think of the build up close here? I'm trying to give you guys some like really good angles so you can see this thing. Are you gonna go pick up any of these? And you know, just kind of let me know what you think in the comments. So just want to remind everybody, I got a P.O. box. I'm going to be doing mail time in May. So send me your mail, send me a letter, send me your thoughts on this stuff, send me a sticker, send me your sig fig or something from your channel if you're a YouTuber and I want to get some display going on here in the Ultimate Studio. And I'm really, really excited to hear from you. So that's going to do it for tonight, gang. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you very, very soon with the next video. Take care.